Hey guys, I just spent way too much time getting that camera position. Welcome back to the channel, Luke here, and it is just a cruddy day outside again. I thought most of these days were over, but hey, it's Florida, what can I say? I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. It's just with the new baby and, you know, all my stuff getting stolen out of my car. I've been trying to recoup everything and do another video for you. Today I want to talk about Holdback, and you know, it's such a mysterious word. You know, what is holdback, and you know, why is the term used, and how it's used, and what does it really mean? You know, it's pretty simple once you obviously know what it is, but there's a few ways to kind of break it down as far as pricing goes. When you have a price of a vehicle, you'll see an MSRP, which of course is a manufacturer suggested retail price, you know, which hopefully nobody buys a car at. You know, there's always going to be a dealer discount. Usually that discount ends up being within a few $100s of what we call invoice price. So there is the invoice price of a vehicle, and basically that is the price of the vehicle before holdback. So holdback is really the dealer profit, to be quite honest. Anything that is above invoice is just, you know, a couple $100. If it's, let's say it's $300 above invoice, that's $300 more dollars that they make in gross. If it's $500, it's $500 more. Now they also get the holdback money as well. So that's where the main profit comes from. Now, of course, you have back-end money, which is financing and things like that, warranties and auto armor and all that good stuff. But they call that the front end when it's as far as the holdback and the price of the vehicle. So what is it? Well, basically it's the margin between what the dealer pays for the vehicle to the invoice price, which is actually around the price that most cars are sold for. You're saying, well, how does that work? How much is it? All that kind of good stuff. Well, the holdback is different for every single vehicle. So I think it's based on a percentage. I'm honestly not sure how that works, but it's all different for every vehicle. Of course, the higher the priced vehicle, the more holdback you have usually. But then there's some vehicles that have more holdback than other vehicles. So when the dealers are into holdback, that means they're cutting into their main profit to sell the vehicle. Well, then you might hear, oh, well, I'm giving you all the holdback. Well, how am I going to make any money off this vehicle? Well, that's about the only time you'll see dealers giving up holdback is if they're going to get to a bonus number. Now, a lot of people that have worked in any kind of retail situation or big corporation type thing, you've got a quota to hit. Now, a lot of salesmen have a quota to hit, but that's not necessarily the same thing. That quota is put into place within the dealership to maybe give them bonuses and things like that. Whereas the manufacturers have a quota that the dealerships need to hit to get extra bonus money. Now, how that works is they have a quota on usually a certain brand, and then they'll have a different quota on another brand. Sometimes they separate it between trucks versus, you know, non-trucks, or they'll have a bonus for trucks and for cars, and they'll separate it that way, or basically cars are every other vehicle than a truck. See how this bounce goes. Okay, wasn't too bad there. So how that works is when they get this bonus for the trucks or for the cars, that adds extra gross to every vehicle that they sold retroactive. So you can see why that would be such a big thing, and maybe why they'd be able to give away all their profit on one vehicle to make profit on every vehicle they sold. So depending on the dealership, that can be a huge number. You know, if they sold 50 cars and they're getting an extra $1,000 per vehicle, I'm not saying that they're all like that, but you know, they can be. I mean, that's 50 grand that the whole dealership gets. So yeah, I mean, giving you a great deal on one car at the end of the month means, okay, I'm going to give this car away, but we're going to get 50 grand because of it, well, that's how you can use negotiation to your power, and that's why the old saying of waiting till the end of the month, is valid because of that reason. So that was something I never understood, and a lot of people, don't understand unless they're in the business. So to answer a lot of people's questions on, should I wait till the end of the month, blah, 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 blah. It just really depends on what you're looking for and what you got going on, and the dealership, and obviously what the dealership has going on as well. Because if they haven't sold any of their numbers, or they've already hit their bonus, it might not be much of an incentive for them to give away another car. Especially if, let's just say they, because there are different tiered bonuses. So if they, let's say their bonus was at 50 cars, and the one right before you, they sold their 50 cars, and it's the last day of the month, and they've got 3 hours to close. Well, losing money on your sale literally is losing money, because they're probably not going to get a bunch of people coming in the next 3 hours to buy cars. So you see how that works, and the bad part is you really don't know where the dealer stands. Now the thing is, to be quite honest, you can just ask them. I mean, if you've been, kind of looking and, feeling around, this is why sometimes it's good to shop about a week before the end of the month, and get in with a few dealers, or get in with one dealer that you really like, and, show interest and look at the cars that you really want. And then when it gets closer to the end of the month, or maybe the last day of the month, you can call them and be like, hey, where are you guys, as far as your units? Do you need another unit? If you guys give me a great deal, I'll come in and get one. So, that can be something that you can negotiate with. There's not anything wrong with asking, hey, do you guys need another unit to get to your bonus? If you give me a good deal, I'll buy one for you. So there's nothing wrong in that. But getting back to holdback, let's just say the holdback is, honestly, it's not a whole lot. Dealers think they make tons and tons of money off new cars, but there's really not a ton of money in them. If let's just say we were to sell a vehicle at invoice, it's usually under $2,000. So especially on vehicles under $30,000, it's more around like $1,500. So if I sell you a vehicle at invoice, the whole dealership makes $1,500 on selling you a car. I mean, and to pay for, advertising and the unit and the gas and the employee that gets paid and the finance guy that gets paid and all the managers that get paid, it's really not a ton of profit. Now, of course, that's where the back end comes in, and, if you finance, they're going to make some more money. If you buy a warranty, they're going to make some more money, and all that adds up, of course. But that's why I say, a lot of people ask me, well, of course, they come in like old school, cash. Give me your best cash price. Well, it's not mom and pop, sandwich shop. That's different, because everyone's like, oh, with credit, they have to pay a percentage. Well, that's not how that works. It's completely the opposite. We get paid when people use credit. So, when you finance something, we get paid on that, almost as much sometimes as we get paid on the front of the car. If we finance a regular deal, we don't have to, take anybody under the table, but just a regular deal, the bank could pay us, $1,000 or something like that on the backside. So it's like doubling the money if you finance. So coming to the table with cash is not usually, I'll just say this now, it's not a great negotiation tool. Unless there's that time at the very end of the month where they're like, give me your best cash price. At that point, it doesn't really matter whether you're paying cash or paying, or you're financing it, because they just want the unit. So to go back to holdback in general, if there's $15,000 or $1,500 worth of holdback money, and they're getting that bonus money, let's just say that's $1,000 for that unit. Well, that kind of made up for that, so that's a $500 loss. But again, if the whole dealership's getting a bunch of money, 20 grand, 30 grand, or whatever it is, it's not that big of a deal to give it up. So really, there's no mystery between it. There's a couple different prices on a real invoice from manufacturers. And it's funny how a lot of people say, oh, show me the real invoice. It is the real invoice, because we buy in bulk, of course, and there's a floor plan, and you're paying interest for the vehicles to stay on the lot. Well, when you have the MSRP, then you have the wholesale price, which is invoice, which usually things are priced at or under, a little bit under invoice or a little bit over invoice, then you've got that holdback difference, and that's the actual price that the dealer paid for it. So their only profit margin is if they get to their bonus, or if they sell anything above holdback or in between holdback is their actual profit. So there's employee pricing, and there's usually friends and family pricing. Now, friends and family pricing is usually 1% under invoice. The good thing about employee pricing is it just kind of takes negotiation out of it for people that don't want to bother with it. Seeing that most things are priced around invoice anyway, sometimes the friends and family price, it's good because it cuts out all the BS basically. So if you're not one to negotiate and go back and forth, you don't know if you're getting a good deal, if you have a control number or a friends and family price, it's an easy way to know you're getting a fair deal, because it's usually about 1% under invoice for FCA. I'm not sure about other dealers. And you just kind of, the more education you get, like my videos and the channel here, it just kind of helps you be a more educated consumer. And I've got no problem with educated consumers because they actually understand what we're just trying to do without basically the mindset of, oh, this dealer is going to completely just try to take me under the table with every single thing I do, so I just want to cut him down to nothing with everything that I do. And that doesn't make for a good relationship. You're at each other's throats, or who's going to take who. I like the fact to be like, hey man, I'm selling this to you for a couple $100 under invoice. We're getting you the best interest rate we can. We've got no dealer fees. It's a fair deal. That's what I like about our dealership and how we do business. But to someone who's just trying to cut me down to my knees, they don't care. They don't know. They don't understand. They just know whatever price I give them, they want $5,000 off that price because they just think there's a $5,000 markup on every vehicle. So I actually prefer the educated consumer, and why I'm doing this channel. I hope I explained Holdback. Sometimes I can get off on a little bit of a tangent because I like to give as much information as I can, but to break it down again, you've got an MSRP, you've got invoice price, and then you've got holdback. And there's an employee price and a friends and family price in there. So if we start from the top, MSRP is manufacturer's suggested retail price. Below that is invoice, which is where things usually are priced at. A couple hundred over, a couple hundred under, or right at invoice. And then below that by 1% usually is the friends and family price. Then there's holdback, which is the dealer profit. And then there's employee price. Now, I don't know if this is the same with everybody else, but employee price means you actually work for Chrysler. Not a dealer, but you work for Chrysler. Like you're in the manufacturing plant. You're, a district manager for Chrysler. Like you're a trainer for Chrysler. You work for the company. Just because you're a dealer doesn't mean you work for Chrysler. There's a different discount for that. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, check out my other videos. There's a lot more on car buying. There's a few on my 2018 Charger Hellcat, if you like that kind of stuff. And of course, be sure to like if you did like the video, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody who's supported me so far. And if you got any questions, of course, leave a comment. Usually my email is somewhere if you got any questions. If not, it's the channel name at gmail.com. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Yeah, it's wet and rainy. Nothing's happening here. You want to see what a Hellcat does in the rain? Holy crap, it actually stuck. Ditto 555Rs are amazing. I'm going to try this again. A whole lot of nothing. Sounds good though.